And we are live. Hello, everyone. This is Santiago. Here with me, I got Pedro, partner here at Pemberley Realty with me. And joining us today for our topic is a very great friend of ours and Roxanne's, Tom. Do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Morning, guys. Tom Chapman with Fidelity National Title. Been doing this for about 35 years. That's why the hair is gray. Not the two daughters, it's the work. No, actually, it's really fun. Thanks for having me on, and let's go.
Sweet. Okay, then our topic for today is preparing for a pre-sale home inspection in California. So I got a few questions here for you, Tom. For all our sellers out there that are gonna watch this video, they can get a little bit more, knowledge on what to do. So the first question I got here are, what are some of the most common title issues that sellers should be aware of before a pre-sale home inspection?
What we always suggest is an agent would get a property profile. So basically, it's a snapshot of the property, who owns the property, who has a lien, like a loan, and then it'll give you comps. But the idea is make sure that we have the right vesting. So what maybe happened is the family had a trust, did a refi. A lot of lenders will not lend to a trust, so they go ahead and deed out of their trust and forget to go back in. So you want to make sure the vesting's right. So when the contract's drawn, it's with the right sellers. And when you're writing an offer, you want to make sure you're writing it to the right sellers. Mm-hmm. So that's usually the first step.
Okay. How about how does your title company ensure that there's like no liens, or judgments on the property before the sale?
Okay.
What do you guys do for that?
So when you're going to market and you get a full-on preliminary report, that is going to be a more focused search on the property. It's going to say anybody that has a vested interest. So we'll make sure the vesting's right for the owners. Then what typically starts off is we have tax items because the county wants to make sure the property taxes are paid. Then we're going to see maybe a trust deed or an easement, a subdivision map that then dictates there's common easements or setbacks. You can't build 15 foot from the property line. So we want to start identifying those so that when the buyer is disclosed, anybody that has a vested interest, it could be SDG&E, it could be a cable company, it could be a solar lease on the property. Those things need to be identified and they could be addressed. So then at the time of closing, we're going to put that together in a package to make sure everybody knows this is what's going to be covered. This is what's not going to be covered. That way they're secure that they got clear title, that they bought from the right sellers, that they know who has easements. Your new lender is going to have a loan, and then you're going to have your county taxes.
Okay. And how long does it usually, if there is any of these, unresolved title issues, like how long could it push it back, or, what complications can it cause?
And I did forget, you mentioned judgments. We run the owner's names against court records, state records, and it may show there's a child support. Well, if there's an audit done, and if it's really easy to do, it's a few days, but otherwise it can take 20 to 30 days. So you got to get on that as soon as you know. Maybe the children are no longer minors. Well, then at that time it could be addressed and then removed so it doesn't show up again on the next time. Okay. There have been cases where there's small claims courts where someone didn't know that they actually have someone that has a lien against them. And what the process is title gets a hold of escrow. Escrow reaches out to that lien holder and asks, hey, what's owed against it? Maybe it's paid off. Oh, they already paid it off. Here, I'll do a zero demand and reconveyance, and it's gone.
Okay. Great. And how do you work it out with the sellers when it comes down to resolve those issues? Do you have to? You just mentioned you call escrow and have those stuff taken care of, but how do you go with the sellers themselves on how to solve those issues?
Usually it's through escrow because escrow becomes our client. They contact us and say, we have a contract. We have a able and willing seller and buyer. Here are the agents involved. tell us what we need to get and gather.
Yeah.
Just this morning, we had to request from a seller a copy of their trust. Unfortunately, it's a widow selling the family home, but it was still in the trust. But we needed to confirm that she was this co-trustee in the property. And by doing so, we took care of that problem through escrow.
Okay. Okay. How early should a seller be like, let me get a title report or a prelim of my house? Should it be like even before you even before you even, try and put it up in the MLS? Like how early would you say it would be
We
time to?
suggest when the listing is taken,
Okay.
because now you're under a fiduciary responsibility with an
Yeah.
agent to do a contract. Then we'll do the report. And then in doing the report, we could start addressing any issues. Maybe there's
Yeah.
no issues. That's great. Now we can go to
Yeah.
market, have the house ready, and away we go. But
Yeah.
in cases where you do have spouses who have passed away or you inherited the property from a parent or grandparent,
Yeah.
it's better to address that ahead of time.
Yeah. Yeah. Even before you're active, because then you might be getting offers in, and then you're still
It,
trying to handle these title issues, and could cause some issues, I
yeah,
guess.
and if you get a really good offer
Yeah.
where the buyers want to close within 17 days, well,
Yeah.
if we do have an issue to try to get some old documentation, we don't need to add that onto it.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. And what about like any of the like local regulations, like the California ones? Like I would say like is it any like the NHDs, the earthquake stuff?
Yeah, I would suggest getting that ahead of time. I know there's
Yeah,
some really
as
good
well.
companies out there that
Yeah.
will handle that.
Yeah.
Um, really, when you have a able, willing seller, it it behooves them to get ahead of the curve and get this taken
Yeah.
care of.
Yeah.
Same thing about doing certain inspections at the property. Fire hardening, that has become a thing in
Yeah.
certain areas that you need to have a fire marshal walk the property to say you have a low fire risk or a high fire risk. That's going to change the way that you look at marketing the property, especially when we have issues getting home insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are some, let's say, someone doesn't get ahead on it, and last second is, you know, what are the consequences for not resolving these title issues?
Well, you can get delays, and then sometimes you may have a family who is moving in. They
Hmm.
set that they were going to close on Thursday. They have the trucks showing up on Saturday, and now they're told it's going to be another 10 days.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Have you had any of those experiences before, where there's been some big
Yes,
title
it
issue?
happens.
Yeah.
Um, Insurance has been one of the things lately, believe it or not, that has pushed back a couple properties to close.
I see.
Um, Buyers not being as prepared as they had said. So that makes it hard for the seller. If they're going to sell and go buy, now you're pushing that next one. So it becomes like a little domino effect
Yeah.
that starts. It can be bad. uh, Talk to Roxanne about some of the pitfalls when properties don't close on time.
Yeah, I know Roxanne has a lot of pretty crazy stories. I mean, she's been in the business for quite some time too. Um,
And
and
we've even had issues with the county recorder not accepting documentation at time of recording, and it could be leading into a long weekend.
yeah,
And then the brokers have to work something out. Is the insurance in place? The are the keys being handed over? Oh, they can't be handed over because it's association, and the association wants to see the grant deed that says these are the new owners to have access to the association
yeah.
common areas and things like that. Talk to Roxanne.
Quick question. So you've been working at what you do for 35 years. What would you say is like, what do you enjoy the most about what you do?
Um, I really like being able to solve a problem or
Yeah,
help expedite any situation.
yeah,
This morning was just making a couple of phone calls, following up with the seller to get a copy of the trust.
yeah.
Thank goodness they had it. But um, we've had a couple instances where we are actually tracking down trust attorneys who drew the trust because the family can't locate it from their parents. And it's important to know who the
Yeah.
successor trustees are. Can you actually sell the property?
Yeah.
Because the trust is the owner still, even if the original trustees have passed, their successor trustees have to be able to be identified that they are able, willing to sell.
Yeah.
And so I like that. I like being able to say, I just help
Yeah.
families be able to buy a house, sell a house, agents be able to make their appropriate rewards.
And you haven't had any, have you had any experience where, let's say, you know, it's a single person, they lose their trust, they don't know where it's at, and then you call the trust, the attorney, and they're not in business, or you can't get a hold of them. Like, what's your next step to finding the trust, and what's, in it?
It all depends on what other documentation they have. If it's just the grant deeds, we're going to have to do something. We may even have to go to a trust attorney to review it and maybe give us an opinion letter to say, yes, from what we have, they are the successor trustees. And sometimes we'll ask for an indemnification so that if any future time someone comes and says, wait, I was the successor trustee and I have, here's information to show that, not this other person, then they are going to have to take care of the issue. We are saying, we're not going to ask any money up front, but you're going to indemnify us to say that what you're telling us is true and in fact.
Yeah.
Just like if a seller doesn't disclose everything that they're supposed to, and a title company goes and closes, and we find out that they did not disclose that they signed, let's just say, an easement for a neighbor.
Yeah.
And the neighbor comes in to enforce it, we're going to take care of the issue. Any title company will take care of the issue. But there is recourse against the seller because they did tell us, they told us everything, even though they didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very, sticky situation to be in if you don't disclose that type of stuff.
Oh, there's one in Oceanside right now where someone multiple ADUs, and there was a restriction on it that it had to be owner occupied. They sold it to an investor.
Ooh. And do you see those stuff a lot?
No, not that often.
Okay.
And the title company that insured it did not find the deed.
Okay.
But at the same time, the seller didn't disclose that they did sign it as part of their package to get their permits.
Yeah.
So as far as last I heard is the new buyer has contacted the title company that insured it, and the title company is going to take care of it, and then they're going after the seller.
Okay. All right. And what's, for our audience that's going to watch this later on, what's something that you as a title rep can help them with? Or, I know we've talked about what you do, but what's a little bit, your sales pitch on why, you're such a great title rep?
I have plenty of referrals.
Okay.
I think in that realm of I'd rather solve a problem, help an agent save money, create opportunities to make money, and hopefully be able to have more conversations, because ultimately the more conversations you have is more opportunities for you to work with buyers and sellers.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And I do not like to tell someone that we cannot close a file because there's a problem. And I've only had a couple where it's what we call, it's a total failure of title, and they have to go back to the prior company to try to solve the issue.
Yeah, I don't think none of us, including us as agents, like to not be able to close a place. So
yeah. Well, we got to make the homeowner or the seller and buyer be able to complete what they are trying to do. And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. 100%. Do you have anything else you want to talk? I mean, we're kind of getting to the 15-minute mark. We usually keep it 15, 20 minutes. Is there anything you want to add in there to our?
If anybody wants to see what type of title products we have, even blank documentation, if they want to know what a substitution and recon looks like, or a grant deed, quick claim, you can go to my website, tommytitle.com.
I'll go ahead and put your phone number right here at the bottom of the screen.
Thanks,
There it
Chris.
is. So if they want to give you a call, they can go ahead and do so. And I'll put, this is your right email, right?
Correct.
So they can shoot you an email as well if they have any questions. And, you know,
Yeah, that's what we're here to help grow
so
business and close deals.
exactly. So thank you so much. And then, I mean, if you're a seller and you're looking to sell, want to know a little bit more, trying to start moving forward with the process of selling your home, um,
Or
feel
just
free to
what
reach out.
title insurance is.
Exactly.
Reach
Or
out
just
to
what,
me and
yeah,
I'll be able
exactly.
to help guide you.
So feel free to reach out to us. You know, we got a lot of people that can help here. Tom can help you here at the office. We're more than welcome to help you and you know, achieve your real estate needs. So thank you so much, everyone. Give us a thumbs up, a like, and follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Here's my phone number, and our Instagram is right here as well too. So feel free to reach out to us, and we'll love to help you guys. So thank you so much, and have a great week.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Okay. See you, Tom. Thank you.
All right, Pedro. See you in Santiago.